This is TWiT.
Back in the day, we didn't have digital. We had film. And if you really were into it, and I hope some of you did this, I know some high schools still teach it, you went into the darkroom to develop your negatives, and then to print them, you'd have a big enlarger. So there's a new Darkroom app that I think really is fun because it will, for many people, bring back memories of working in the darkroom. And for younger people, I think you can learn more about photography using this. It's called Darkr, D-A-R-K-R, and it's black and white. You have a choice. If you pay for it, you have a choice from large format, medium format, pocket camera, or we can go right into the darkroom. Shall I add a negative?
Yeah.
Okay. As soon as I can figure out how. There we go. Now this is this funny thing. This is my photo. These are all my photos, and they're negatives. So this is from my Apple photo roll, but they're negatives. So let me pick something that would be kind of fun to turn into a black and white image. Okay, so that is a negative. That is not the positive of it.
I like
so the
it
first
in
thing you have to do is you have to develop it, right? And you can choose what kind of film you're going to be using. Now this is going to, John and other people who ever worked with film will love this. Ilford 125 or 400 ISO. They've got Ilford color film. They have a variety. Oh, I guess not. My favorite, of course, Tri-X. There we go. Tri-X had a nice grain to it. So I'm going to choose the film, and then I can use the scanned negative. The darkroom will handle it as a real negative. So that's actually pretty nice. That looks good as Tri-X film. And then I can go into the darkroom. Get ready for this.
Yeah.
I printed, remember doing this?
Yes.
A test strip with different exposures. Then we're going to pick the exposure we want.
You put your iPad in the solution?
Do not put iPad in the solution.
Oh, then it would be real.
Is it IP rated?
Now, sometimes you probably noticed in the darkroom, you'd get something that maybe was a little too bright in some areas. Remember how you would do that? You would dodge it. So we can also have we have a dodge tool that will darken areas by painting on them. You also have a burn tool. Most images have a bit too much contrast. Actually, the other way around. Dodge, you're blocking the light, right? So that means you're making it, I can never remember these, but this would help you remember it. So every image has a baseline where the whole image gets the same amount of light, but in a real darkroom, you burn with your hands. Sometimes people would have a little stick with a little piece of something on it. So you can add light to the base exposure, and that will make the area darker. So we're going to darken stuff by creating a mask. What's nice is they explain this process all. So this is, in some ways, this is a trip down memory lane, but in other ways, it's also a kind of tool that I think a lot of photographers who've only worked in digital might get some ideas for how they want their images to look. And by the way, at the end, you can get some really great black and white images. So I think this is a lot of fun. There's also patching. You can do gradients. Really, and then the results, by the way, are, I think, quite excellent. Some of the black and white images, you could change the tone. We can do a selenium shot, or we can do sepia, or now I have to fix the exposure on this. This is clearly too bright, so I picked the wrong base for my strip. So I have to go back to the test strip and maybe even turn up the enlarger and get it a little bit darker here. But you get the idea. This is really fun. So there's tutorials for everything. So and it is all black and white. So you can learn how to work in a darkroom. This is, it's expensive, time-consuming, and the chemicals are pretty nasty working in a darkroom. I think this would be kind of cool to give to a teenager.
Yeah.
Say, back in the day.
Yeah, I was on the yearbook in 8th grade. Spent
So
a lot of
you're
time
used
in the
to this.
darkroom.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of magic happened in that darkroom.
I think it's cool, and I love it that it turns everything into a negative. So you start with a negative. You will want to pick your pictures carefully. Not all pictures look great in black and white, but if you pick a good image, these are all portraits. This would be a good image. Maybe my bicycle. This is Burke working on my. So that's the negative, right? So I'm going to choose the film. The nice thing about the higher ISOs are grainy. The lower ISOs like this is a Kodak. Wow, this is fascinating. And that's after I scan it. That's what I'm gonna. That's the simple one. But we're not going to use a scanner. No, we're going to go to the darkroom and print a test strip. I like it dark. I do. You like that? Yeah, that looks good.
There we go.
Now we're cooking.
Popping.
Now, and maybe I'm going to blur some of this stuff here, and you know, we're gonna play with this a little bit. Let's turn up the blur. Whoa, you get the idea. DARKR. If you want to buy all of the features, you can use it for free. But if you end up wanting to buy all the features, it's I think $3.99. It's not very expensive, and it's for life. Isn't that fun?
Love it.